All right, it is recap time. College football week 5 is in the books. Douglas, I'm no
Oh
longer
boy.
on cloud 9. I
I
came
ain't been
back to
there
earth.
yet. I haven't been there yet. So
Came back down to earth this week a little bit. Was 1 for 5 in the big game previews, or 1 for 6, sorry. 0 for 5 when we did the college football episode. The only one I hit was UCLA +3, which we did on the Thursday night, Friday night special.
yep.
Um, so not good. And I'll get into a little bit of my theory about why I did it, and it's because I kind of faded myself, but we can get into that. Just getting into some records. I went 14-9 on the weekend, still pretty solid. Didn't do good in the big games, which is not good, but I cleaned up on my group of 5, which I do pretty well in. That's good for 61%, 14-9. That brings my season total to 91-54, which is 63%. So, been bet with me, still making money. Douglas, 7-4.
Hey,
Better. We're
hey,
winning.
winning. I didn't take a lot of play this week. I didn't
No, you
like a
had
lot of stuff.
I think I had 11 of your plays.
That's what I had.
No.
Yeah.
So, but hey, 7-4 is good for 63%. Brings your total to 41-35. We're up 54%. Other best thing though, the best bet parlay hit again. Shout out to JMU and Duke. Two
Mm-hmm.
not really, big names, but credit to us for finding. Douglas, you're 5-0 on your college best bets.
Dude, I know. I can't believe it.
That's pretty impressive through 5 weeks to still have a perfect record.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out JMU. I'll get into that game because I think they're in one of my shout outs. But yeah, we're doing good. If I hit half of my big games, I would have had a really good week.
yeah.
Some of those big games just crushed. But all right, let's get into shout out. Shout out North Texas. I had them as one of my teams who had that dog in them. They were 3-point dogs at home against FAU. They won outright. I think it was 45-28.
Yep.
So I took them +3 and money line. So shout out to them.
No, I love that one for you. Definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to. I probably shouldn't shout out anybody because I still suck and I still didn't really make a lot of
Um,
money. But
Shout
I'll
out
give one to.
Kentucky.
I'm gonna shout out Kansas
Oh,
first. Got
Kansas.
got to shout out
They
Kansas.
were never in danger of not covering that one.
I get it, but they've been very consistent for me. The most consistent out of anybody, which I thought was. I'll get into my losers list here
Mm-hmm.
shortly. Thought the most consistent recently has been Minnesota, and we'll get
Yeah.
there. We will get there.
My
But
Go ahead.
dude, I'll tell you what. Kansas quarterback Jalen, I can't think of his last
Jalen
name.
Daniels.
Daniels. He's special. I like that kid. I like that kid a lot.
I think if their defense is actually underrated. They have a corner named Kobe Bryant
Yeah.
who is special. He's like 6'3". He's super long.
Is that the Kobe Bryant that played at Cincinnati?
No, that
Okay.
Kobe Bryant's in the NFL, I believe.
That's
It's
very
a
interesting.
different Kobe Bryant, and this dude's very, very good himself. He will definitely be an NFL player.
Awesome.
My next shout out goes to UCLA, another team I had on who's got that dog in them. They won outright on Friday night at 10:30. It was easy once they got up. They started the game down. I texted you that kid, that Bobo receiver. This kid is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He is the best 6'5" route runner I've seen, maybe since Mike Evans. He's not as
Wow.
athletic as Mike Evans. He's
That's
not going
some
to be
praise, though.
he's not going to be able to burn corners deep, but he can get a release and he can cut just it's freakish how big he is and how fast he can cut. But he could end up moving to tight end, which I think he would be even scarier tight end because I don't think there's a linebacker that could stay with him in man coverage. He's that good at route running. Shout out UCLA. It was a good win.
Not going to shout out Levis just because I wanted them to win. I did sprinkle money line. That's on me. I did take him to just cover, and they did.
Yeah.
But I got greedy and went for the money line.
Yeah.
So that's more so on my behalf. They covered.
Yeah.
They did their job. That being said, the team I want to shout out, Washington State.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you called it that. I mean, Washington State has a great defense. The fact that they played as bad as they did in the second half against Oregon was just a shame because it
is a shame.
They probably deserve to be a top 15 team right now.
Yeah. That being said, looking forward to the future, Saturday at 7:30 on Fox. They're heading to USC.
That'd be a big one.
USC's defense plays like it just did the last 2 weeks. Washington
Yeah.
State's going to win that football game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah.
That defense is not good.
Usually they can't stop the run.
They cannot.
I was watching
They
that
couldn't
game.
stop the pass against Arizona State late in the game, and I was like, "What are we doing here?"
I had USC's team total, which didn't it ended up missing by 1.5. But I was watching that game, and it just the reason it didn't hit is because USC's defense couldn't get off the freaking field.
Yeah, dude,
They just
I
kept
teased
gashing them
them
with runs, 9-yard runs.
I put in that 3-leg teaser I texted you. I hit Arizona. I teased everyone 7 points. Hit Arizona, hit Oregon. I lost USC by 1.5. So I was like, and I thought, like, what can I blame here? There were a multitude of things. I could have blamed Caleb Williams' first interception of the year in the back of the end zone on a terrible ball. Ball was terrible. Yeah. I could have blamed that they just let Arizona State march down the field right after that and just score. It was just, I know they won convincingly. Yeah. I was not impressed by that performance by them.
Again, though, I must say, watching that game, that dude has some pocket presence. That dude, he's going to be when he gets the NFL, that'll be his best trait. Where he will just scramble. He's like almost a small, like he's a kind of he's not as fast as Kyler. He doesn't have like
that's who he reminds me of.
He doesn't have the open field. He kind of reminds me of a blend of him and Big Ben. He has the pocket presence of Big Ben, where he can move and shift and sink his weight and get free. Yeah, but he has like that little quick scramble ability that Kyler has. He just doesn't have the long range speed. So, my last shout out goes to James Madison. Help me get back off the snide on the best bets. I believe am I 3-2. I lost my last 2, which were heartbreakers. So this game was a little scary though. They weren't covering into the third quarter. It was a rain game. Shout out Hurricane Ian. I blame Hurricane Ian a little bit on this weekend. Let's not get mad at each other for missing bets. Let's get mad at Hurricane. Let's get mad at Mother Nature for because I think that affected some of the games. It was pouring at James Madison on Saturday.
Yep.
They weren't covering in the third quarter, but they ended up. I think they scored two touchdowns in late in the fourth quarter to seal it. But there was like a 10-minute stretch where that game felt. I was about to text you and be like, JMU didn't cover. Like they were never in a threat to lose the game, but they just couldn't score like from the end of the second to the through the third quarter. I don't think they scored, so it was rough.
Yeah. I felt that way with my best bet pick. I texted you and said, I got a bad feeling, dude. This line keeps dropping, and I don't know why. You said they got to know something. It's got to be a reason.
Usually in college like that, when you don't know why a line, it's usually like because colleges, they don't have to announce when a player's out.
Yep.
They don't have to say, hey, our quarterback's not. It wasn't that, but or hey, our starting running back's not going to play because of discipline. They don't have to come out and say that before a game. They usually don't because they don't have to. They don't have to give the other team that they're playing a heads up. In the NFL, you have to. So you kind of find out about that stuff.
Yeah.
Usually somewhat similar to the odds makers, but even though the odds makers know way before.
Yeah,
they know way before. So yeah, that line. I didn't watch the game, but I'm sure that it would had to do something with someone was injured and then one of the starters just didn't play. Moving on to the airing of grievances.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
I have 2. How many do you have?
2.
Okay, I'll start off then. Arkansas.
Okay.
I can't be mad at them for losing to Bama, and I'm not.
Uh-huh.
You had Bama on the ropes. And when you have Bama on the ropes, you can't mess up. I think they were down, 5?
Yeah.
I think 5 or 6, whatever it was. They had Bama at 3rd and 15 with a backup quarterback that was probably not going to throw the ball ever. And they let him scramble for 70 yards. And when they hit that, the game was dead.
Yeah.
But they had scored back-to-back touchdowns. They were back in the game. It felt like an easy cover.
Yeah.
Before that play, and then after that, it was just dead. So that had to be a heartbreaking play for just all Arkansas fans. But you got to be better than that if you want to compete in the SEC West. When you have a team 3rd and 15, you can give up 11 yards all day. You cannot give up a first down. Because if they score there, they had all the momentum. If they get the turnover on downs, or if they even get a punt. They had all the momentum in the world. Their offense had cracked some codes and figured some things out. Man, that was a heartbreak because I had them. I had the money line in a parlay.
Yeah.
I threw money line on a parlay as soon as Bryce Young got hurt. I threw him in with a live money line parlay, and that was the only one that didn't hit. So I was just all around a heartbreaker. When you have Bama on the ropes, you got to win the game because you saw how fast it went from a 5-point game. I think they won by like 23.
Yep.
Or something.
I mean, it was very fast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my first airing of grievances here, Minnesota. I mean,
yeah,
so I found something out that
I know Ibrahim didn't play, but I don't think that was the problem.
no, it wasn't. But yes, that's a
was.
huge thing. He's second in the FBS in rushing.
I
so
get
that,
it.
that will hurt. That being said, Tanner Morgan, dude, a 17
he's
QBR.
a senior,
17.
Right?
He's a senior.
Yeah.
17 QBR. 18 for 33.
Against the defense, that's not good. We saw them get shredded by Penn State.
18 for 33, 257 passing yards, 3 picks.
Terrible.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I mean
that's Aiden O'Connell played terrible.
Horrible. But he was hurt.
And it didn't matter.
Wasn't. Yeah.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Didn't even matter. And Maccabee had 11 carries for $112 and a touchdown. He had that like 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, it was just all around. I don't know if there was some they just didn't feel like the mojo because Ibrahim wasn't playing, but that defense didn't look the same.
Yep.
That offense was, not even close to the same offense. I can't believe a school like Minnesota doesn't at least have one more guy. Yeah. I understand you're not Bama where you have 5 running backs who can come in and be a number one, but you got to have at least one other guy that can come in and do similar type things. And the fact that they don't seriously worries me. Are you still on them to make the Big Ten championship anymore?
I don't know if I can be after that loss. That's a bad loss. Like if you're going to lose, it had to be next week.
Yeah.
It had to be that one. That's their toughest game of the year is Penn State. And now I think they're probably going to lose that one, probably convincingly.
If Ibrahim doesn't play, maybe. But Ibrahim was dressed, which was weird.
Yeah, he was dressed, but they played 3 other backs and he didn't play. So I don't know the severity of it.
So maybe I'm guessing they were just making the other team think like, hey, maybe there's a chance he gets in.
Yeah.
But maybe they were just like, hey, your ankle's a little banged up. We're just going to save you for next one.
Yeah. No, I can't be up on him right now. Again, I got to just.
Because Minnesota.
The Big Ten West sucks.
That's what I mean. So maybe they're like, we don't really care about these crossover games. We just got to win the division games.
Yeah.
We don't care about Purdue. We don't care. Maybe they don't play them next week against Penn State because they just got to win in the West.
Yeah.
And they want to save them for that. So I don't know. But yeah, that was not good. I also had Minnesota. So my last one, this might be a while. BYU. BYU. Brigham Young University.
Oh, yes.
They were 24.5-point favorites at home. Thursday night against Utah State. Now, listen, Utah State lost 35-7 to FCS Weber State at home.
Yeah.
35-7 they lost at home. They go in and keep it to 12 points against BYU. BYU's defensive coordinator needs to go.
Yeah.
It was the dumbest defense I had ever seen. Basically, what they were doing, they were putting 4 wide. Utah State was putting 4 wide receivers, so no tight ends. They had 1 running back. BYU had 4 people in the box. They had 3 linemen and 1 linebacker, and all the quarterback was doing was catching the snap, dropping for 1 second, and running a draw.
Yeah,
and they were getting 8 yards a clip, and they never moved out of the defense. It was so bad, so pathetic. I was screaming at the top of my lungs on Thursday night at like 10 o'clock because BYU was pissing me off. They didn't even hit the team total.
Yeah.
They scored 3 more points than Weber State did against Utah State. They didn't even hit the team total, which was 42. So bad. BYU, you're a joke of a school. You're a joke. Your entire state's a joke. Utah's a joke. Provo's a joke. You don't even sell beer at your games, by the way. What a joke of a state. Utah, I hate it. I'll never bet a Utah team again. You all suck. You hear it here first. Airing of grievances, BYU, you suck.
I love that. Love the energy for that. And with mine here, oh boy, the Pitt Panthers.
It's. I mean,
I get it. Hold on. I remember we spoke and you said, "Look, this is one of them get up games for Georgia Tech."
Yep.
Fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. Go get up. Keep it close.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even mad they didn't cover, but for you to be in Pitt and you lose
It's
to
not
a Georgia Tech team that you are 21.5-point favorites against.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, they're bad. Pitt is bad. They're equally as bad as West Virginia.
Signetti's terrible. Signetti's got to go.
Bad.
Well, actually, I think it's Signetti, but I think it starts with Narduzzi. Narduzzi just has the biggest track record of doing this. He will go down. I don't know. I don't think they play Clemson this year. Let me look at the rest of their schedule because he will beat ranked teams in the ACC. He will play them tough, and he will have his team up for any game.
Yeah,
against a team that has a number next to their name. Let me see here. They go to UNC, who's not ranked right now, but they'll probably win that. They're home against Syracuse. They'll probably win that. But at the end of the year, they'll probably lose at home to Duke.
Yeah.
Or they'll lose another bad game because that's just what they do.
Yep.
Narduzzi does not get his teams ready for bad teams. I don't know what they do on weeks when they play bad teams. It's the same reason they lost to Western Michigan last year. Western Michigan was I said it earlier on this or in earlier episodes. Western Michigan was a fine team last year.
Yeah.
Sky Moore, Caleb Ellaby, they had some good pieces. They were not better than that Pitt team, and they just did not show up defensively. Narduzzi, I get Whipple left for Nebraska, but you did hear all these things about like that relationship kind of blew up, right?
Yes.
Because Narduzzi was getting pissed at Whipple for throwing the ball and scoring too fast.
That's
Narduzzi was mad that they scored too fast and too often.
Nice.
Because his defense, there's a D coordinator, but he takes pride in his defense because he's a defensive coach, was on the field too much.
Oh, Jesus.
And that's why they lost some of those games because their defense was on the field too much. Narduzzi, I can't stand Narduzzi.
So if I read you just between the two quarterbacks here, and I know Georgia Tech's not really a passing school, so don't be misconstrued by it. If I told you Sims was 11 for 26 with 102 yards and a touchdown versus Slovis, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick, you'd think Pitt blew the doors off these guys.
Yep.
You would.
Yeah.
And then when I tell you, I forget the kid's first name, Hassan Hall, the running back for Georgia Tech. If I told you he had 20 carries for $157, you're going to say, "What? Pitt's front's the best part of the defense. What are we doing here?" It didn't help that Abanikanda was hurt or whatever it was. I think he got hurt, or it didn't matter.
They lost that game well before.
It did not matter. Pitt sucks. They suck.
Good. Thank God they beat West Virginia because we have some people we can talk crap about that too. But
that's it.
They're done. They're done. Let me look where they're at right now. They're next to last in the Coastal Division.
That's
now
nice.
Everyone's only one team has played 2 games in there, so they're still. Oh wait, actually, hold on. Georgia Tech has played 2, Virginia Tech's played 2, and Virginia's played 2. So I mean, they're 0-1. They need to get back, but they can still win the Coastal, but it's not looking promising after that.
Yeah,
and they got Virginia Tech, who's not. I mean, they're not good. They should beat Virginia Tech. They go to Louisville, who's tough. UNC, who's tough. Syracuse, who's ranked.
Yeah, Syracuse, aren't they undefeated? Are they undefeated? They beat Purdue.
Yeah, they're 5-0.
Yeah, that's not a freebie as people thought it would be.
They're at Virginia. They're home against Duke, and then they go down to Miami, which they should be able to beat Miami. But again, this is a year where they'll probably Pitt will probably be ranked like 18th in the country and 1 win away from winning the Coastal, and they'll lose at Miami to a bad Miami team.
Yeah, that's just what they do.
So that'll be great for Pitt. That'll be great. Keep Narduzzi around. Give him another 20-year extension because he wins 5 games a year. All right, moving on. That one is on me. Douglas, would you like to start for opening up to a bad pick?
Absolutely. Wyoming +3.
Yeah. San Jose State is a program that I don't know what it is about them. They don't have the best athletes. I told you they just play tough, man.
Dude, not even that. Like, what the hell am I doing? I bet
Yeah.
on Wyoming.
Yeah, I told you to be a little
What am
cautious.
I doing?
The crowd, I'm sure the crowd was live and whatnot, but San Jose State, man, they had just every year they have a solid team.
I mean,
I'm always cautious to bet.
I can't
mean,
even be mad. It's Wyoming. They know nothing besides tornadoes, trailer parks, flatlands, cornfields, and hillbillies.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what that state consists of. You wear mud
Josh Allen.
boots. Look at him. He's a big hick idiot. He's
probably-
good. He's a
probably gonna
big
win.
hillbilly jackass. That's what he is. 6'5" corn-fed loser.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well,
And
loser, I don't know about loser.
well, he ain't won nothing yet, as far as I'm concerned. So that guy could kick rocks too. I bet on Wyoming though. I'm the biggest loser of them all for that.
yeah. There you
That's
go.
on me.
That's on me. Ole Miss -6.5. I tried to outsmart the books. Which by the way, I kind of did because Vegas got crushed on Saturday with this game. Over 80% of the money was coming in on Kentucky +7.
Yeah.
They got crushed on Saturday because of that game. So, and I kind of went into it a little bit when we did the big game previews. If you would have gave me or asked me to guess a line for that game, I probably would have guessed that Ole Miss was 2.5 point favorites, 3 point favorites or something. Yep. The fact that it was 7 and then just dropped to 6.5 real late made me love Ole Miss because they were the book. I'm always of the belief that the books know more than the bettors. So I was like, they know something that I don't know in this game. So, and everyone's on the other side. I love when 80% of the money's on one team, I usually bet the other one.
Yep.
Just because the book knows something that they're making the line that way where more people are betting one way. So
that's kind of like the Minnesota and Purdue game, how it dropped 3 points in like an hour and a half. And that's because I didn't know. I should have probably put the time in to look. Ibrahim wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
So the line comes down 3 points for that. If I'd known that, I probably would have faded my own pick.
Yeah.
And just like insured myself somehow. And that's the only leg I missed in my parlay, of course.
So yeah, Ole Miss. I just tried to outsmart the bookies. Next week, I'm just going to go back to my gut.
Yeah.
When we do week 6 in college football, I'm just going to go back to my gut, trust my eyes and what I've been seeing. So I watch every game for a reason. I should have just, I try to watch every game just so I can bet with my eyes and not what the books are telling me. So moving on, new segment. I think we did in the NFL recap last week, but frauds of the week.
God, that's amazing. You are so talented.
Huh?
Wait a second. Something's not right here. You were just making it look like you were playing. You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
No, this is new. Frauds of the week. We talked about this. Would love to hear yours. I'm sure you got a couple that you can.
My biggest one, I have one. I called it my biggest loser, but same thing. Oklahoma.
I had the same one,
dude.
Brent Venables is supposed to be. Brent Venables is supposed to be this defensive genius.
Yeah, did what 55 just get put up on him by
50 burger, 50 burgers getting cooked, and Brent Venables is supposed to be at the grill flipping them, but he ain't there.
Dude, I mean,
you got 50 overcooked burgers. He's telling Oklahoma fans, "Oh, here, try my burger. It's delicious." No, it's not. You burned it.
Yeah, no, I'm very confident in saying Oklahoma's not a top 5 team in the Big 12. Truly, I think that
it's that defense. It wasn't even close. It was just big play after big play after big play.
Yeah,
Kansas might score 50 points on them too.
Yeah, so
it would not be crazy.
The 5 that I would say is better: Kansas, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Texas, which we're going to see this week, I believe. I think they play this week.
Yeah.
Kansas State, or TCU.
And so they might be 7th.
Yeah, either one. I'm saying you can alternate either one.
Yeah,
because they lost to both of those teams, so you can't say they're better than them because they just lost to both of them.
Yeah,
so
it's not good in Oklahoma right now.
No,
they look so good. They did what they were supposed to against Nebraska, but that might just be really how bad Nebraska is.
Honestly, yeah,
they might just be that horrendous of a program where they couldn't even cover against or be even close to covering against a bad team.
Yeah, so, they're my one and only fraud of this week. They're the only one that deserves the fraud title to me. Okay. Like they were
good,
terrible.
Okay, so we're both in agreement that they do not deserve to be ranked.
Correct.
Because I hate the AP because they just rank helmets. I feel like
Of course.
they just look at helmets and they're like, okay, Oklahoma, yeah, they lost, but they might still deserve to be like 24th or something. We'll just throw them in there so people will watch them. You know what I mean? I feel like
I don't know what the line is. I know it's early. We're recording this Monday at it's almost 7:00 p.m. I will be taking Texas this week. You can book that shit right now.
Although Texas does not do well against them, even when they were.
I get it. Right now, I'm leaning towards Texas. That's how bad I thought Oklahoma looked.
Moving on, one big takeaway. I have a pretty strong one.
I do as well.
Auburn has to fire Brian Harsin.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. They lost 24-7 or 21-7. I don't even remember. To LSU at home. That's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets. That's all that he's ever going to do is lose by 4 at home to LSU.
Yeah.
They were up 17-0 in that game. They gave up 21 straight points to lose. He's got to go.
Yeah.
And more than anything, teams, they've already started it. Wisconsin did it. Arizona State did it. Some other big schools are going to do it too. Teams that have already fired their head coach, they're already looking at coaches.
Yeah.
They're already talking to, I'm sure, Dan Mullen, who's on the SEC network. Urban's is talking to people. Those coaches that are good coaches. He's a scumbag human being, but he'll win. He'll win football games. He will win football games, and he'll bring a culture that is scumbagish, but it'll be competitive. There's coaches out there that they need to start looking at right now.
Yeah.
Just don't. If you're going to fire him at the end of the season, just fire him now.
I agree.
The team will get up for an interim coach. They'll play hard for the rest of the year under the interim coach. But waiting for the end of the season, like if they wait till Alabama, they're not going to make a bowl game after they lost that game. They're not. If you look at their schedule, they play the rest of their games are SEC. They play Georgia this week, and then they play all. I believe they play all SEC West teams after that. And then Western Kentucky, who's a good Group of 5 team.
Yeah.
I don't see them winning 6 games.
Oh boy.
I don't see them winning 3 more games. They might beat Western Kentucky. Might.
So
but they're not going to beat Mississippi State. They're not going to beat Ole Miss. They're not going to beat Arkansas. They're not going to beat Alabama. They're not going to beat Georgia.
So, pardon the interruption on ESPN.
Yeah.
Wilbon and Tony. Tony, they were talking about Auburn, saying they need to fire him, and who the replacement could be. How would you feel about this? Because the one that Tony said is interesting. He said, "Look at Deion Sanders because he will love it. Recruits.
Would love it. That's what they
said. He might not call any plays. He's just the guy.
He just
that will
get him
bring
there.
The people. In.
Yes.
Okay, so you would love it.
I don't think he'll leave Jackson State.
I don't think so either. But if he
was up for it, absolutely.
Okay.
That's what they need, a guy who will go in there. That's why Gus was so good.
Yeah.
Gus was good at X's and O's on offense, but he wasn't a X's and O's coach. Was he like top tier? Probably not. But he could go into homes and recruit kids.
Yep.
Like like it seems like Harsin just has no connection with kids at all.
Probably
because he cannot recruit at all.
Doesn't have as good of a connection with him as Sandusky did.
That's why I said, yeah, okay. Well, I would love Urban. I would love Urban, even though I would hate it on some level. Just more. I would love it. Actually, I would hate it morally because I know what things he would do. But yeah, that's it. Harsin, get out of my school.
Yeah, no. My one big takeaway this week, and this one's very strong by me as well. USC is not on the same level as Ohio State, Georgia, or Alabama.
I said that was my one last week. I said they're very beatable.
That I think that they're not going to finish the season undefeated. No. Someone's going to get them. I don't know who it's going to be.
Oregon State had such a good shot, though.
Somebody's going to get them. It's coming. Yeah. You cannot just keep going in there high on the hog, thinking that you make no errors. They think that they're playing like perfect football, I feel like, and they're not even playing close to it. So there's going to be a team that will humble them, and it's coming. And another take to add on to this, I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. And I know that sounds biased. I really do. Right now, I think that they look the best. Granted, they haven't played the best competition.
But I'll tell you what, that win against Wisconsin does not look good now.
No, it looks terrible.
I'm just going on I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the resume, it doesn't look as good in the resume because they just got Wisconsin went home and got ran over by Illinois.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to touch on the last part of this, Georgia's kind of scaring me a little bit. They'll be
fine.
I agree.
Fine. They got just some kinks right now.
Got to work out them kinks because it wasn't a good. What was it? 16-0 at one point.
Yeah,
late in the game. I mean, it was second half. Then it was 16-6, and ultimately they came back and won, which I figured they would. I didn't think they're going to lose to Missouri. I don't care if it's fourth quarter; they're down 16-0 with 5 minutes left. I'd probably live bet Georgia to win the game. But they should be blowing out a team like Missouri.
Yeah.
They really should. It shouldn't even be close. So they got to figure that out as well. But yeah, my ultimate one big takeaway here is USC showed us again they are not who we thought they were.
Nope.
And their defense is horrendous.
You just got to run the ball on them. Let's wrap it up. We'll just talk about some games that are coming up next week. There aren't a lot of good, there's no real high, number of matchups. Number 8 Tennessee goes to LSU.
Yep.
I don't know if LSU's that good because I know Auburn's not good, and that was a 4-point game. So I think Tennessee can do all right, even though they're going to Death Valley. Number 17 TCU goes to Kansas. I believe that is where game day is going to be.
I wouldn't hate that. Hey, Kansas, they jumped straight to 19. Yeah. They weren't ranked, correct? And they just went boom all the way to 19. Give me Kansas again on that. I'll take Kansas again.
College game day there probably will influence my bet because they are going to be up for that one big time.
Oh yeah, I'll take Kansas on that.
Let's see another. See if we can get. I mean, Auburn's going to get. I think this is the week Georgia bounces back. I believe Georgia opened as like a 14 or something point favorite, which I'll love that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Utah at UCLA. We talked about that one. That is at the Rose Bowl at 3:30. Kind of like UCLA. I think Utah is a little high on the hog right now.
I do as well.
I think they played like Colorado, and then Oregon State coming off that loss was not up for. They were not up for that game.
I wonder what the line of that game's going to be. You would think it's going to be tight, seeing that it's in UCLA. It's going to be. I think Utah's still favored. I just don't know by how much.
It could be. It could be. Either way, I think it's under a field goal.
Okay.
Let's see here. Ohio State goes on the road. I feel like they play every other game at home, by the way. Ohio State. I feel like they play 9 of their games a year at home. I don't know why. But
I wish.
They go to Michigan State, who I believe Michigan State lost to
Maryland.
Yikes.
Yes. They're 2-3. I think that they're going to get decimated. Just a bad year for them.
Let's see. Going into the night slate, we talked about Washington State. They go to Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
If USC is giving them anything more than 7.5, I'm taking Washington State. I'm telling you that right now.
Wouldn't hate that either. I mean,
I'll probably sprinkle a Washington State money line. If there's a team that's going to humble these guys, this is it.
My only worry about Washington State is I don't know how good their run defense is, or run offense is. I'll look into it. I think they're usually more of a passing team, but I'll look into it. South Carolina at Kentucky, nothing. BYU at Notre Dame, although I don't think BYU is very good. I might love Notre Dame in that spot.
I love Notre Dame as well. I'm taking them to win just outright, probably in that game.
And moving into the real late slate, Texas A&M goes to Alabama. I think Alabama
steamrolls.
That's just a straight up revenge game.
Yeah.
Last year, you embarrassed us in front of a national audience. We are going to pound you.
Yep.
Florida State, they lost, but
shout out Wake Forest, baby. Shout out Wake Forest. Those boys are tough.
That over should have hit too.
Yeah, it should have.
NC State, they go to NC State. NC State's got to rebound. They're
going to kill Florida State. I don't think Florida State's good, so I don't know why they were where they were in the first place.
NC State, they look so good in that first half. They just collapsed in the second.
Yep.
Night, there's not much. Although I think Oregon State gets back on track going to Stanford.
Yeah.
So that'll be good for that. I'll probably bet that.
Something sneaky here. One of the late games, 9:00. I kind of like Arizona over Oregon right now.
Oregon's defense is not good. You think they have a good defense because of Dan Lanning coming over from Georgia? Their defense is not very good. So I don't hate that either. I think Arizona's a sneaky team in
They are.
conference.
They are.
So that was it for the college football recap. Go check out. We're going to put out the NFL recap just about the same time. So go check that out. We will be back later in the week. We'll have we're gonna change up how the episodes go. We'll have a normal episode, and then we'll have a picks episode. Normal episode we'll just discuss debate type things, and then the picks episode will just be all picks. You can get all our picks, one-stop shop. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys later.